Good afternoon. Um, Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We want to welcome you to SKTV. Um, Today is Thursday, March 31st, 2022. We want to welcome each and every one of you to SKTV. Today is another edition of the SKTV show. Today is one of the days that we air, and so we'd like to welcome each and every one of you. Um, our viewers, our followers, our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the show. Today is an exciting day with lots of expectations, lots of things to talk about, lots of interesting talking points, especially issues that concern Liberia. We have some announcements to also make to you. But overall, we want to welcome all of you. Welcome to the show. As you can see the title on there. Welcome to the show. Share the show. Invite someone. Share the show and invite someone. As you can see the title. How long more can or should Liberians hang on? We are resilient people. We have been hanging on. How long more amidst everything that's going on? We have a lot to talk about. Like I said, we didn't air on Monday. A lot of things were going on. Our schedules are getting busier daily as we are heading towards the summer and so forth. But we still promise an exciting time when we meet with you and when we can catch up with you. But let's share the show because we have just a lot to talk about today. We're bringing greetings from the state of Arizona. Very nice out here. We also want to invite the general public to our inauguration here come the 21st of May. We'll invite every one of you to Arizona for our inauguration. It would be good to see you in person. If you can come, if you can make it, come up. Let's come to the inauguration. Some of you, we've been Facebook friends, Facebook acquaintances for years. We've not met. I think it'd be a perfect opportunity for us to meet in person and to interact. So we want to invite all of you. This is an open invitation to all of you. Should you need a formal invitation, feel free to either send us your email address or the best way to reach you. Please share the show, invite other people. Today we have a very interesting talking points. If you go on SKTV's site, you would see the talking points are there. Today we're going to focus on whether Eula and Minister Nathaniel McGill were wrong. I know this has been trending. The good thing about it is I was right in the hall. I was right there. I saw everything that went on. I heard almost everything that went on for the most part, not necessarily seen. Because just so you know, when Nathaniel McGill started his shenanigans, I respectfully boycotted him. Yep, because that was a plan that I had in heart and in mind. I did boycott him, but from outside I could hear, I could hear it. I could hear the conversations. I think I did the same thing in Texas. I boycotted Senator Darius DeLong when he first came around and won the elections, but he wouldn't give a definite position on dual citizenship. I did boycott him that day in Texas. But it was respectful. I don't think he even realized it, but I did. And I did tell one or two people that were there. They asked me, but that's a side point. Today we are here to have like I said, interesting conversations. We'll talk about Senator Nathaniel McGill. We'll talk Minister Nathaniel McGill. We'll talk about Serena Cephas and the prosecutors about their admission of um, altering the evidence that was presented in a case against Mr. Cummins. We'll talk about it. We will also dive into the mysterious killings or deaths. The biggest question: who killed Princess? We'll dive into it. We will also scam and run around whether the ALP and the UP should be given the okay to run in their names. That is a legal slash neck battle that has been going on. I've listened to some Unity Party partisans, some people from the GMB camps, some people from other camps who have different positions. And I think it's in their purview to have different positions. But at the end of the day, the law will take its course and decisions will be made. So yes, let's share the show as we get ready here. But in other news, everything is going well. We thank God. We are back from the East Coast. We are in Arizona. A lot of different things seem to be happening around the world, in the country, with different people doing different things. In other news, there has been an escalation of SGBV, sexual gender-based violence, or abuse, domestic violence, however you want to term it, whether across Liberia or even the diaspora amongst Liberia. Most recently, we heard of the stabbing, killing of a female in Minnesota. And it is reported that the husband has been apprehended or caught, as we say in simple terms. So yes, so a lot of things are happening. And just before we share the show, just before we play the music to share the show, before I start to share as well, I think it's very concerning in our community. We have said some of these things before on this network, on this platform, in other ways about the importance of not tolerating abuse, the importance of whether nipping in the butt, getting the proper authority, especially in the diaspora, where you have all the resources. Especially that. And you would sit and allow yourselves, your children, family members, friends, to be abused, to be molested, to be hurt, to be touched, and you do nothing about it. You bring this Liberian mentality, let just leave it with God. You don't want to get a man in trouble. You don't want to lose your relationship. You do nothing about it. Some of us, the church, aid and abet these things. I was even surprised reading the papers earlier this morning, listening to different news and so forth from Liberia. The disappearance of a 45-year-old man. It's very concerning. Quote unquote, he went for prayers. He never returned to his family. I listened to his brother this morning making the case. It's tiring. It is frustrating. It's concerning. We saw the case of the missing boys last year. Up until today, we've heard nothing about it. Nothing's been said. Nothing's been done. No one's been held accountable. Everybody playing little games here and there. You know, it's troubling. It's very problematic. Let's be honest. Let's be honest on this. And so these are some of the things that we're faced with. And again, it's concerning. is troubling, is problematic. But we're going to discuss all of these things. This is why the topic here today is how long should or can Liberians hang on? So let's go quickly into our musical break. We will no copyright to the songs that we play here today. As we share the show, invite others as we have this conversation. Today, we also intend to open the lines at some point. Let's make these quick announcements and we'll recap these announcements before the show is over. On Saturday, we're going to be having former ambassador, currently a political leader, or also a presidential aspirant or candidate, Nathaniel Bounds. He will be on the show. If some of you can recall the video that's passing around, Nathaniel Bounds was the man at the program on Saturday at the ULA program that, quote unquote, tried to keep Nathaniel McGill in check. The man that spoke right after Nathaniel McGill and tried to keep him in check. He will be on the show on Saturday. You know, it's interesting how when we met for the very first time, he said to me, he said, "You look like the younger version of me," and we started laughing. But yes, we met. We were able to secure this interview coming up on Saturday. So he will be here Saturday. We'll announce it and we'll post the flyer, the announcement on SKTV page and so forth. But not just Nathaniel Bounds. We have some things going on here on SKTV. On Sunday, many of you remember a few months back, we had Antonia Law. She's also the board chair for Daughters of the Mountains. Sonda, I think you guys remember Sonda. When she came on, she talked about the Acela deal. She will be back here to update us on the Acela deal, where we are and where the deal is as we speak and what's actually going on Sunday. She will be here. So we have a very packed, ready, full weekend. On Friday, we are resuming our conversation with mental health and wellness at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. As you're already aware, we are going to be talking about intimacy and isolation. This morning I posted, intimacy is one of the most important things, if not so the most important things in your adult life. And then I asked, what does intimacy mean to you? We talk about it. We talk about what intimacy and isolation means. So don't miss Friday, don't miss Saturday, don't miss Sunday. So we have a full conversation. We have everything ready to go, set, ready. No messing around, no fooling around, as you already know. We'll recap these announcements by the end of the show. When we get back, I was at the ULA convention. As evidence, this is, if you were there, this is the book that was given. We'll read one or two things from the book to talk about if ULA was wrong or so forth. We'll hold them accountable by their own book. This is the book that was given at the convention. Not only that, on Saturday morning, we had a leadership conference or meeting where leaders from different states, presidents, different organizations, whether you want to term it as county or tribal organizations, were there. I remember vividly, Lofa County was represented. Lofa County was there. I also remember the president from the NEMA associations in Americas, they called him UNICO. He was there, President Don Dennis. So we had a leadership, and the president for Eula, Honorable Kamara, Shiwo Kamara, presented a project and a budget to all the leaders, and I took notes. I'll read some of the things I took. Yep. And you can see the sheet short because it was cut down here. I made recommendations and proposal for us to raise money. I handed it to the president. The president said I should hand it to the assistant secretary general, and I did. So we'll talk about some of these things. But let's go to the break. Invite other people. We have a lot to talk about. Very interesting conversations, because we also want to dive into what happened at Eula. What is the legal ramification on this side in the United States? We're just talking about it from the Liberian context. What does it mean on this side? And what can be done? So get prepared so we can have these conversations. When we get back momentarily, we'll try to recognize one or two people. So if you want to be recognized, you have to write. If you don't write, we'll not be able to recognize you because I wouldn't be able to tell. I'm not looking at the phone. We'll be back shortly. We will no copyright to these songs or to this song that will be playing. Thank you so much. Share the show. thank you for sticking with us. I see that many of you did not share the show. I tried to share, you know, I got one or two shares in there. Let's recognize one or two people as we move forward into the conversation here today. Let me show my face so nobody can think that I'm afraid. Yep. Let's recognize one or two people. Tanya, welcome to the show. Rachel, I beg you, don't bring the meaning of this song here before you can bring problem. I beg you, I hold your 2 feet. Leave the meaning of this song, please, I beg you. I beg you, Mama, don't bring noise on it because the meaning will pause the whole show to determine the meaning of this song. Helena Flomo, welcome to the show. And nobody my guest. She can get very mean, she can get very, she go to, she can take camera and level. She buy that's my guy, that's my buddy. Caroline, welcome to the show. Domo, I like that name. Dumo. Interesting name. Real Sepro, my man, welcome to the show. Long, it's been a minute, my man. I hope you're doing well. Lawrence, welcome to the show. Anita, welcome to the show. Justino, who did Justino get Beverly Pajibo last week? Who did person here? Who did Justino person here? The person need to be investigated. The particular person. I'm not talking about Serena for the own investigation. I'm talking about real investigation. Who the person? Tima, welcome to the show. I said, laughing today. She can deal with me again. I'm gonna get her. She can't stand me, but I love and hate now. You know that. And my sister there. Miata, welcome to the show. Rosa Parks, what's up? What you get for in our country? I guess the president came back a few days from Dubai, he brought Sonny. He get the guild devil that was making fun of guild devil, he get guild devil back. That's why I heard. I don't know how true that one, but that one I'm breaking news, so we're not discussing here. That guild devil that will put money off for, they say the president took the guild devil back. I mean, the whole country was died when the president came back, but that's for another time. Rachel, you let noise. And James C. Blythe Jr., welcome to the show. Rachel, you let noise. I noticed you always bringing noise up. You let noise. Today, like I said earlier, we promised to have a deep conversation. As you can see the topic. I think I look over my phone here. I see Uncle Pete, the man from all counties. Uncle Pete, welcome to the show. It will interest you that some people may plan with me to say the dancing I can be doing behind the scene. They're not you dancing. I can be lying. I know how to dance. So I'm talking about what I dance or I ain't dance. I'm talking about it again. Ever. I'm not discussing my dancing moves and all that thing because all those sacrifices I've been making behind the scene dancing, some people discredited me. Can you imagine that? So I'm not going to go into the dancing aspect. If you say I know how to dance, that's fine. If you think I don't know how to dance, come to the inaugural ball. You'll see what's up. Come to Arizona between the weekend of June 21st and so forth. Seattle Thompson, what's up? I didn't see you on the show on Friday, Seattle. You were absent. I don't know if you followed the show after, but you were absent. Adolphus, welcome to the show. It's a long time. I can't listen to the ANC show, my man. You let noise. What kind of man? Adolphus, you let noise, brother. Don't bring noise on the show. I beg you. Don't bring noise on the show today. But yes, again, this is those of you who attended the program in Philadelphia this weekend, past weekend, this is what was given to us. I think I was seated on table 8. I met what her name? Is that Levy or Levy Thompson? No. Letitia, one of them. Levy or Letitia, one of them. Well, I know I met one of them. and we took pictures together. I did not post the picture. I don't think I'll post it. I will leave it as that. She's cool. Elizabeth, welcome to the show. They just person yesterday working on the show. That person will the just person will be investigated. Samantha, welcome to the show. I know we took you for safekeeping for a while because you guys to be writing funny thing. Please don't write funny thing here today. If not, so you go back to safekeeping. I can guarantee you that we don't play like that. you already know the code. Hold on 1 second. One second. All right. So while we are waiting to get back into the conversation here, sorry, it's just me. I'm multitasking today. Yvette, welcome to the show. Oh, because Samantha not ready again. What are you doing today? Samantha, I forget about what I'm doing. In situation I can't handle. James David, welcome to the show. Oh, person said again. Who that? Just person yet. The person want dealing with me. Just we yell. You say y'all not data generation? Y'all be fun. And now I'm making y'all get president, I get the best president in the world. So yes. So let's dive into the into the first question here. Let's talk about if Liberians are all right. Someone is supposed to be joining us. The person's reached out to me, so I'm reaching out back to them. Let me tell them really quick what they need to do. Sorry, guys. All right, so this is done. Today is just me, so I am multitasking here. So sorry. I know your time is fast spent. Please, let me just get this last thing going here. Okay. I think we should be good. I think so. I think we should be good. Today, the question that we have been asked, or the question that's on the headline is, how long can Liberians, or should Liberians hang on? How long? Well, let me be honest with all of us. I think Liberians are one of the most resilient people I've known. When I say resilient in terms of putting up with nonsense, in terms of being very tolerant. Liberians have demonstrated so much resistance. Ellen, well, welcome. You've been gone for a while. We haven't seen you. Welcome. So much they've taken from generation to generation, and so forth. And so sometimes it seems as though Liberians are comfortable. Liberians are afraid. So sometimes people take that as a means of saying, that Liberian will not do anything. Liberians are cowards. Liberians are punks. Liberians cannot move. So there are different views, different perceptions of Liberians. I just want to make sure I clarify that general question or that part of the question on the headlines. It's important for us to clarify that. How long will Liberian or should Liberian hang on? But then it's also a risky place to be because you don't know when Liberians will snap. You don't know what will be that triggering factor that would lead to, Liberians doing things that they're not supposed to do. As evidenced by that, during the war, before the war, we saw Liberians took a lot of things. And interestingly, we also saw during the war, before the war, we saw similar things that we are seeing in this era, in this time, going on, such as using the courts to prosecute people. Soon Do then took over. The very first thing they did, got people in the courts. They went through the court system, executed those people. Trump urged charges against people. According to history, Thomas Wesson was hurt. Honorable Karishma, welcome. Ben, welcome. Ben Carson, I mean, you've been going for a while. Welcome. But we saw all of these different patterns. But not only that, we saw a similar thing like Bernie Samoka. Other guys left the country. They fled. And we saw all of these different events happening. The mysterious deaths, killings, even though some people were not born at that time, even though some of us maybe were younger or we were not even born at that time or whatever now, because I'm not going to call my age on here. I'm not even going to give you a hint to figure out. But essentially, these things led to, it was more of a boiling point for people. People started to get tired. People wanted to take the laws into their hands. People wanted to act because they couldn't trust the justice system. They couldn't trust the system that they were working with. They couldn't even trust the president. They couldn't trust any branch of government, as we are seeing today. And so the Liberian people resulted into violence, to taking the law into their hands, to what President Weah would term as people should, get their own cameras to protect themselves or be able to protect themselves. And we saw lots of lives lost during that time. And it brought us to where we are today. Some people are so hurt from the war. Some people have been victimized. Some people lost everything during the war. Some people are fatherless and motherless today because of the war. Some people live with internal trauma. They will never be healed. Some people, like some of us, blessingly, we were able to travel. I say this to say, whether to the government or to people in authority, we are seeing a repeat of events. People are getting tired. How long will these people hold on? Some people would snap. So you have to be very, very careful. You don't know at what point. You don't know what's being planned. So I say to the government, seek the interests of your people, like the Constitution states. Seek the interests of your people. People are just tired. Sita, Norris, welcome to the show. You know, and it's troubling. It is troubling. It's problematic. It's very concerning. Let me be honest with you. And every day people have these different issues that they are dealing with. So on top of that, people are hungry. And we're getting to the nitty-gritty of some of these things. People's children are being hurt. A lot of these things are happening, and we have an elected government. We have people in charge. Not let me say this, not just mutual exclusive to the executive. There are other people there too. The other branches of government. They seem to be doing nothing. They seem to be doing nothing. They don't want to do anything. And it's very bad. It's very concerning. So we don't know how long people are going to hang on for. And that's not where you want to be as leaders. You don't want it unexpected. You don't want someone to take you by surprise. You don't. And our leaders are taking the Liberian people, for joke. They think the Liberian people, they're taking them for joke. They think nobody would do anything, nobody would stand up at some point. It's problematic. It is problematic. It is concerning. I would be very concerned. Brandy Samoka most recently left the country. That should be concerning. That should be concerning. If I were the government, I would be concerned. Nobody's paying attention to that. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. Minister Natana Magio comes up the other time and issues something. He issues a statement, make this look like this is a joking thing. Or, as time goes by, they will forget it, nothing will happen. This is not where you want to be as a government. That's not a position you want to be in. But let's move fast forward to, we said we'll talk about EULA. We said we'll talk about, EULA and what's going on. So whether EULA was wrong and whether the government, by extension, Natana Magio was wrong. D. Curtis, welcome to the show. Benjamin, welcome to the show. So like I said last week, this Saturday, we're in Philadelphia. As you can see, this is the inaugural stuff. Honorable Karishma, you might want to check your inbox really quick. I know you had a request and we spoke. You might want to check your inbox really, really quick for the information you requested. So, EULA has been around. Let me get to this page. EULA has been around. I want to make sure we digest this EULA issue. There's been a lot of positions on the EULA issue. There's been a lot of position. Let me read something to you from this EULA book really quick. This is the book that was handed to us at the program. Let me just read something to you quick. If you have that book, I don't see the page number here, but here is a brief history of EULA. It says here, on this team, motto, together we struggle for a better union. Brief history of the union in America's EULA, written by EULA historian. So let's listen to this. This is interesting. The new expectation and realities led to the formation of a task force of Liberian Students Association in 1972 in the United States of America, USA, which later became the Union of Liberian Associations in the Americas and Canada in 1974. Now imagine, these guys have been around 1972, 1974. We're talking about a very long time. Very, 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 very long time. Big numbers here. 1972, 1974, they're not today. They're not decades. So if we were to calculate 72, 82, 92, 2002, 2022, we're talking about 40 years and plus. I'm not even sure about the math, but we'll get there. But this is what's interesting. One of the goals of EULA, one of the very first step EULA took back then, listen to what it did. EULA advocacy. So EULA was an advocate. EULA advocacy resonated with other progressive organizations in Liberia, like the Movement of Justice, which was the Moja, the Susu, the Cook, the Student Union Party, the SUP, and the Liberian Market Women Association, the Progressive Labor Organization. Let me read this last part, and then I will bring one of our guests on to join us to have this conversation, because we must have this conversation from a different perspectives as well. Realizing the seriousness of the Liberian people's plague, the leadership remembered past activities of the civil rights movements, Black Power and Black consciousness movements, and the move to swiftly influence decisions in Liberia. EULA found it necessary to challenge the authority, keyword, challenge the authority, and human rights of every Liberian, regardless of their gender, ethnicity, religious beliefs, political orientation, and station in life. Now, the reason I read this is because it's interesting. It's interesting for us to note. When you get back, when your camera comes on, I'll bring you on. I'm speaking to the guests in the back. When your camera comes on, I'll bring you on. So please, when you get back, turn on your camera, please. I can see you. You're in the back. Once your camera comes on, I'll bring you on. So it's also interesting to see that EULA was holding the government accountable. But let me give you the two most recent presidents of EULA. The two most recent presidents of EULA. Let me give you the names. The two most recent presidents. The three, let me give you the names. Maybe it will ring bell to you. From 2015 to 2017, Wilmot W. Cunning. Wilmot W. Cunning. Hey, what's up?
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
I can hear you.
Maybe you might have to put on an earpiece.
Should I go off? Should I leave and come back?
Yes, try that. Let's see. Try it.
Okay.
Go and come back. Yes. So Wilmot W. Cunning, he was president from 2015 to 2017 from the state of Pennsylvania. Listen to this. So this is interesting. The Wilmot W. Cunning name that you're hearing is the older gentleman that's always on focus on Liberia, where George Weah does nothing wrong, CDC does nothing wrong. He's another job seeker. I'm saying it because I know what they're up to. I know what the games they're playing. He's a job seeker. Sorry to say, but he's a bootlicker at his age. He's a praise singer. He doesn't see anything wrong. No, he justifies everything. I don't know how reliable it is, but I'm even being told that he wants Patrick Sulu's job. But I want his business. He and Patrick Sulu will handle that one. Because I know Patrick Sulu definitely will not get it. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's
How
been
you
almost,
doing?
I'm doing very well. It's been almost a year or so since we were last here.
Yeah. Time flies. That was last year, around the same time.
Yes. You said you're in Tanzania.
Yes, I am in Tanzania.
All right. So, how's Diamond?
I've not
Diamond
seen him
Platinum.
since I got here.
Okay.
Apart from his manager, seeing
Okay.
his manager, we've talked. The schedule's a bit tight, and I've been working on a lot of other stuff that I came for too. But it's been an amazing time being here.
Okay. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. 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 Welcome to the program. We're just talking. I was just going through really quick, just before we
Okay.
get into one or two questions. Let me lay something out quick here for our people to
Mm.
understand something because I don't want to lose track of this. I want
Okay.
to backtrack a little bit. Uh, there is another guy that's moving around social media and other places. A stunt sedition, 2006 to 2008. Emmanuel S. Wetty. He's passing around with the dual citizenship bill. He pushed the dual citizenship bill with restrictions that were in a 2020 senatorial by-election. He pushed that agenda. It didn't go through. Emmanuel Wetty. Not only that, here's another person. Here's another interesting person also that you need to keep a look at. Anthony V. Cassidy. Anthony V. Cassidy is associated with the Unity Party. One of the parties that be behind Joseph Boakai. So very interesting characters, very interesting people that have been around this whole EULA thing. So it's either when they leave from here, they go this when they're here in EULA, they try to look for a governmental job, or when they're having governmental jobs, soon as they leave from there, they run back to EULA. Then they come to hustle their way through again. So these older men, and all of them are older men. They're not young people. And the interesting thing that night while I was there, I spoke to some people because I saw a pattern that's very interesting. Let's take, for example, if you look at from 18, if you look at number 17, from number 17 to number 19 or 20, you will see that there is a pattern of the elections. They've elected people from Maryland. I'm saying Maryland, the state, because they do a delegate vote in the EULA. They do delegate vote. So that means if I'm a corrupt bad guy and my vice president were there, I will influence the group. So as I'm leaving, my vice president come there because we got to finish my agenda. That means, so all of this thing you're seeing is not mutually exclusive. They know what they're doing. Long story short, we're at a meeting. I showed you this paper earlier, the leadership meeting that morning. I was representing the state of Arizona as the president. And I took note because the president, Mr. Kamara, presented a project that he wants us to undertake. He wants EULA to undertake, which I think was a good idea. And the budget was estimated to $100,000 to $250,000 for that program. However, he made a profound statement, and I'll quote, he wanted us to come up with a framework to be able to raise this money. Because when you present a proposal or you have a proposal, there should be plans to how you will raise the money to do this. Fast forward, as you can see, the sheet is cut from down here. I think I wrote 3 to 4 proposals to give it to them. To my utmost surprise, when we went to the program that night, guess who was there? Nathaniel McGill. Stenton Witherspoon was also there, which I thought was very funny and coinciding. Some of you will see on some of the videos whispering in Nathaniel McGill's ear. All this time, they came in together as an entourage. I was just like, okay, but fast forward. The reason I'm bringing this thing up is because when Nathaniel McGill started to speak, I walk out. I don't honor people who dishonor my people. I don't do that. I don't have no honor for nobody that is doing what is not right. You don't get honor from me. I'm not about that. So I walk out respectfully. I walk out and I saw some of our Liberian people, the older people, very excited about this new, because Nathaniel McGill promised the government would give 100,000. Everybody jumping around. It shows the degree of how some people don't care where money comes from, as long as it is coming to them, they don't care, they will take it. Whether it's good money or bad money, they will take it. And I saw people who work in this country for their own money sucking up, sucking up. I was just like, okay, these are grown men and women, though. These people been around for a while. You've lived in the country almost all your life. But fast forward, let me get to the legal part of it because I think there's a problem. Let me read this from the IRS. Let me read this to all of us really quick, and then Karishma and I will get into the other sections, which I definitely need her intake and her input on. Many nonprofit organizations provide funds, goods, and other services to communities outside of the United States in furtherance of their respective charitable missions. Such work is important on so many levels and is widely understood to benefit our country, which is in the United States, through the goodwill created internationally. Nevertheless, not all countries' government views such assistance as friendly, particularly where it supports advocacy or strengthening individuals that might oppose the status quo. America, American nonprofit operation abroad must be careful to understand the law of each country in which they operate, how to comply with such law, the risk of non-compliance, and how to best protect their employees and volunteers on the ground. We hope the general overview serves as a helpful introduction to such matter. The advice of qualified legal counsel in foreign countries would be invaluable in helping American nonprofit organizations operate safely. The reason I'm reading this is because this EULA is a nonprofit organization, 501c3 status. And I stand to be corrected, but that's what I heard that day in the meeting. I confirmed it. Having a foreign government investing directly, like what Nathaniel McGill did, could potentially expose EULA to some lawsuits or some problems. I'm also being reliably informed, we on this network are being reliably informed that there is a lawsuit pending for them based on this action that was taken. So let's bring in Karishma. Honorable Karishma.
I'm here.
Yes, so sorry I had to
You.
make that expose really quick so that I can get you on. And thanks for accepting the invite to join us today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My first question to you would be, what do you make of the move of Nathaniel McGill pledging almost 100 and maybe 30,000? At least that's what I heard. At the figure I heard, it could be more or less, but I know that's around the ballpark. If you include what he pledged from the government, what he pledged for himself, and Samuel Twe as well. What do you make of that amount amidst the fact that we have no current at the airport most recently? I know you should be returning to Liberia. I don't know how that will work out, how that will play out. What do you make of that fact?
Firstly, a lot of things in our country has not been prioritized. I hope you getting me very well. Am I
Yes,
clear?
yes, we're hearing you.
In other countries, like I'll give an example for Ghana, you see organizations that are based um, in the diaspora, like Ghanaians organization, generating funds to bring it back home to carry on projects to benefit the people and their country. That's what's supposed to be happening. But we're in a situation we have people dying from hunger. We have our streets dark. Trust me, Steve, the country can be very dark at night. There is no electricity. And so we be joking on social media because we try to ease stress from people staying home. People got to go look for places to charge their phone because no electricity for days. The country can be dark. When I say dark, I mean very dark. Not just one area, but all over. That tells you we have a serious problem. Now it has come to the fact that the airport goes out because we are running the airport on generator.
Hmm.
So from the information I got, we don't have a backup. So recently the generator had a problem. So the airport was off. And they had to figure out how to fix it because the president was coming that day to land. So they
Hmm.
had to find a way to fix it to put it on for the president to land. So the worst case scenario, if it was other people that was coming and the president wasn't and it wasn't a president, we could have had the same case scenario we had with Air Morocco the other day. Air Morocco had to turn around and go land in Freetown.
Hmm.
We had another situation at the airport the other time. Workers were protesting. They hijacked plane. They hijacked a plane, but the passengers on the plane. These are all security issues. You are scaring people away. We got Air France putting out. With this kind of situation, you scare airlines, they're gonna start putting out. We already don't even have enough plane coming on our soil. We have just few, three, four, five planes that are coming out there. So worst case scenario, this airline put out, we gonna kill the economic like yesterday. It's already bad. It's gonna get more than bad because people will need to travel. People will start driving from here to Freetown, from Liberia to Freetown, from Liberia to Guinea to Ivory Coast to buy the ticket to get on flight to go where they want to go. And in that, if that ever happens, that we pray that it don't happen at all, we are going to be putting money into Sierra Leone economy, supporting it significantly, or Africa or any of our neighboring countries. And it's going to be a big slap in our face. We don't have five airports to manage. We have one. We have one airport. We don't have five. Like other countries, you have different. We have just one. These are things that we should prioritize. If you know the generator is expensive, that 100,000 that they're taking to give out, I even heard if money is more. Unfortunately, the figure you're quoting is a bit strange to me because I think yesterday I overheard Facon saying that it was over 200,000, 200 to 300,000. If you invest that and you add some more on that and get a full solar system installed at the airport for a backup for now, or probably invest in a hydro right to the Farmington River, a little hydro to support the airport. This is the airport generates its own money. The airport works as a private entity. It generates its own money. Unless there is something that is going on that is not right, that they are making the money and the money is going to somebody's house.
So, Honorable Karishma, I want to make this clarity.
Yes,
About 130,000
yes,
was pledged. That
yes,
was pledged money. Such
yeah.
as 100,000 was pledged from the government.
So it's 250,000.
No, the 100,000 was pledged from the government.
Okay,
The 30,000, I think 15,000 each from Nathana McGill and Samuel Twe. Now,
okay,
the issue of the 300,000 was a promise that was made
so
that
it's so that means it's
they would
three
put
hundred thousand plus 150,000. So that
yes,
means 250,000.
no, the 300,000 was a pledge that they will put Jula in the
Okay,
next budget because they've already passed this budget.
okay,
Right. So that 300,000 is pending. However, the 100,000 or 130,000 is in effect,
mm,
which means they probably made a payment or they're on their way to make that payment. But here is something that is interesting that they might not understand. this will expose the government to scrutiny from other partners, because when you make these kind of donations as a government, IRS would want to know. This government has also cried more recently. We heard Jefferson County that donors haven't giving any funds or so forth. So,
okay, Moses, 1 minute. I just want to get a little clarity. They are saying that they are going to give you like 300,000, right?
Put them in the budget.
In the budget. What is the money gonna be given for?
And that's a good question, because
I just want to know, what is it? Are they doing project in the States?
No,
for Liberians.
So let me clarify this, because this is the note I took.
Okay.
This project that we talked about that day was actually to be done in Liberia. So some of the things that confused me was we talk about raising the money ourselves, but when we got to the hall, when Natana McGill made these pledges that were due to be fulfilled very soon, about 100,000 from the government, I was a little confused and taken back. How can we want to say, as an organization, based on what I just read from the IRS, we're supposed to be giving back, right? We're supposed to be identifying.
That's what I know.
Exactly.
That's what I started with an example.
Exactly. Yeah. The government comes and fund the
organization.
So in essence, what they are doing? Let me let the people know. So there are some things that are happening behind closed doors. And the thing about it is, these guys think that everybody is crazy or something's wrong with us. We don't understand. They are trying to work the way. One of the things that they want to do, Natana McGill and other people think that they can use EULA to get to talk to the U.S. government to ease up on the sanctions.
Okay.
It will not work. It will not work. That is one of the plan.
Interesting.
Yes, that is one of the plan. Another plan also is to keep the diaspora, quote unquote, in check through EULA. When this EULA in itself has not even been able to really segment itself in the diaspora. EULA has always, for the most part, been branded as job-seeking opportunities in other places. I remember the last meeting we had, the leadership meeting we had, I raised this concern in the meeting. I said, we are new to EULA, and we must do new things. EULA has always been branded as government, cooperative, or operators, or operative, or whatever you want to term it. We cannot continue on that path. You are a new president. The trajectory needs to change. It was shocking to me. 2 days before the program, I got a notification that Natana McGill would be to the program. And I didn't get it from the leadership. I saw it from someone who sent it to me and said, you are going to this program, Natana McGill would be there. I was shocked. But these are some of the plans these guys are working behind closed doors after the Liberian government has spent so much money on lobbying from here and so forth. And, nothing has happened. So I want to bring it back to you. A lot of our listeners and our viewers are saying, they're requesting that you please sit up straight. I don't know, some of the men I don't know what they're up to, but they really want to see you. Yeah, they want to see what's going on. The men say they want to see what's going on. They want to see you.
I'm here.
Mm-hmm. All right, very, very good. Thank you so much.
Can you see me clearly? Am I okay? Or should I sit on the table? Let me see. I have a table here. You got a brighter light. Make mine.
Yeah, position yourself very well, because
I really take trouble with you. Okay, I think this is much better. Is it?
Yes. Well, for me, I think for me it's okay. Let's look at him.
Y'all can see me. My feel well.
I think they can see you. I think they can see you. Okay. Somebody say it looks much professional. Other people say it looks better.
Okay. So sorry, I'm not home. I'm out and I'm in a hotel. I'm in Tanzania, so I'm just trying to contribute.
So really quick, Karishma.
Yes.
Is this is this is this against the law of our country to even be doing what they are doing? By the government just coming automatically and just pledging? Because I know in America, if you want to do this
For
kind of thing, you have to
for
pass.
me,
There are different routes you have to go. There are different things you have to do.
okay, for me, I would tell you for a fact that that's a wrong move.
Okay.
One. Secondly, we have a lot of organizations here. Orphanage homes, visually impaired schools that are not getting support
Hmm.
that I work with, that reach out to me. They have students that are visually impaired. They are on the school campus. They are not being supported by the government. They are running up and down, left and right. I'm just giving you examples. The disabled community, these are organizations that are on ground that need that funds. That
Hmm.
money, that 100,000 that they are pledging out there, if they can use 10,000 or 15,000 each to fund few of these homes that really need the funds, that would have been better. An
Hmm.
organization based in the US, an organization is supposed to be able to generate their own funds to come back and impact the life of the people back home. That's what I know of. Why is the government coming at this time, closer to election, to tell you that they will put you in the budget for next year when next year is election? Why, if they wanted to do it, why it hasn't been done from the beginning? Why now? So the
Hmm.
calculation is already there. I don't know the purpose. I don't know the intention, but I can tell you for a fact that it's a move.
Okay.
It left with with the team to know where you are headed and what you guys are getting into or what you guys are doing. That's one. Secondly, I would say plain blank, that's a wrong move. That's a serious wrong move for us, the government, because if you going to give 150,000 and you are putting 300,000 for an organization that is in the States, what is it you are giving that money for? If you are to be audited, if you have international auditors coming, people that are supposed to donate to our donors, and they see your budget that 300,000 was given to ULAC, what was the money given to them for? Government contribution for what? Is government supposed to be contributing to a Liberian, how you can call it, organization that is supposed to be able to put themselves together to come back home? Because from my understanding, ULAC is supposed to be the one to give back to Liberia.
Okay. That makes sense. Well, let's move on a little bit because
Okay.
we could spend all the time on the wrongs that you guys doing in the government, the move. It's very concerning. But I'd like to move on just a little bit.
Okay.
Most recently, I know you were in Liberia before you came. They
Yep.
to Tanzania. Most recently, I want to move to the Cummings case before I come to this whole human right violation part. Let's clear the political side of it up here. Most recently, we've seen that there's this report of the Solicitor General or the prosecutorial team tampering with, the evidence, and the Solicitor General, sometime this week, agreed that a couple of pages were removed from the evidence that were presented. But here is something that I want to read to you from that we captured in our research.
Okay.
In the laws in Liberia, and let me quote what was written. Quoting Rule 7 of the governing of the behavior of lawyers in Liberia, the defense lawyer argued that the rules forbid lawyers from suppressing and screening information and evidence capable of providing innocence of a defendant, rendering CFOS and team's conduct grossly unethical and criminally unprofessional. Now, Rule 7 states, this is what Rule 7 states, the primary duty of the lawyer engaged in a public prosecution is not to convict, but to see that a justice is done. The suppression of facts or secreting of witness capable of establishing innocence of the accused is highly reprehensible and utterly unprofessional. What do you make of this whole case and what Serena Cephas and other people have done so far? What do you make of it, especially you being a politician too?
Um, um, Steve, I used to calling you Moses. Sorry.
Go ahead.
By your Facebook. Okay, Steve, there's the entire case. I can tell you for a fact there's so much going on, both behind the scenes. Everybody's playing their cards. But what I can say to you is that this particular case has given Kumis a better stand in the country. Sometimes people think that they are pushing you. Sometimes people think they are using certain situation to blackmail you, or they are using certain situation to pull you down. But sometimes this situation helps to sell you to the people. If you have asked me, I will tell you, taking Kumis to court is more like helping him to run his political campaign. Perhaps I see things from a different perspective. You have to make him more popular. You take it into consideration that election is close by. 2022 is more almost like a campaign year. So whatever you're doing with a particular person, especially someone that is vying for the presidency seat, you are selling him to the people. You are making them to know about him. You are making them to hear about him. You are making so there will be things that are gonna come out. You're gonna think it's in your interest, but no, it's gonna be you're gonna be selling the person in the interest of the Liberian people. So I can tell you for a fact that the entire case, I haven't 100% followed it, but I know for a fact that whatever that is ongoing is something that has too much hands on the ground. They were trying to do it in a way to get Kumis off totally, but now I can tell you for a fact that it's selling Kumi in the country. Kumis is being sold politically. The propaganda is being is in Kumi's interest. So if it was in my shoes and I was the president, I'll give you a common example. I was never going to encourage a case of Kumi's going to court when I know I want to be re-elected for the second term, because you more selling him to the public just few months to campaign, few months to election. Yep.
So I want to ask you another question before we get into what's going on with human rights violation in the country, considering I know that's one of your passions and so forth, and that's where we spend most of our time. I'll try not to bring the political thing into this thing here, but you as a supporter of the government or a sedition,
Yeah.
you still being a sedition. Some might say you betrayed the struggle or you are betraying the struggle. Where do you find this courage to call out the government on their wrongs as you've done? And most recently in some of your posts, you've been very vocal. You've been writing openly about your disagreements or your dissentment about some of the things the way the country is going. Where does that come from, and what do you say to other seditionists who are still praising and worshiping?
To you, Steve, I have so many seditions that are happy for the fact that at least one of us can come out and say, no, this is wrong. I don't see anybody telling me that I betrayed the struggle. There is nothing you call betray the struggle when you are speaking for your people and you are putting your country first. If our government was actually doing everything, it ain't got to be everything 100%, but at least 50% of what the people expected from us, we were still going to be talking for the government. But still, when things go wrong, we will speak, because this is a government. This is not an individual thing. It's not like it's charisma or it's President We are alone, or for example, it's McGill alone. No, it's not an individual thing. This is a government. And you speaking when it comes to a government, meaning you are it's an entire authority. It's not just one person. Because, for example, when the gender ministry messed up, it goes back to the president. Because why? He appointed them. So it's not a one-man thing. It should be a teamwork. And in being a teamwork, everybody's supposed to work together to make it work. But when you have the people that are supposed to work together feel that they don't owe it to the Liberian people to work together to get the results, then we get disappointed. I am disappointed in my government. I can tell you for a fact. I am disappointed. It's embarrassing for you to even hear that your airport went out of light. Not just one time, not just two times, not just three times. It's embarrassing, especially for some of us that travel a lot, that go out there and we have to stay in front of the public. They tell them, say, I am from Liberia. Most of the time I go for programs, I enter a hall, I'm the only Liberian at that program. Even with everything surrounding us, we still got to speak in a positive direction because you become an ambassador for your country when you stand in front of people. So we still got to paint the picture in a little way to make it look nice and before talking about the good things. So it is not something that I would tell somebody who is brave enough to look at me and tell me, say, if any sedition I would look at me and tell me I betrayed a struggle, then I mean that person really is not living in Liberia. Because when you live in Liberia, you see the reality. Trust me, you will not even say a word.
Okay.
I don't have sedition attacking me on social media. Besides people that feel like I'm running for a particular position that they are running for, and they got other people that they feel that they want them to go against me. But the real seditions feel happy that we can come out to speak for them, that we
Okay.
can come out and say the truth. We all want to see our government do better. I want to be proud. As a sedition, I want to be proud tomorrow if we win election or when we leave in power to say, yes, we did this. We settled the situation. We got 24-hour electricity. Even if it's not 24 or 18 hours, we got safe drinking water. Our airport is intact. The educational system is on course. But things are just moving in the most negative direction for us. And we as young people in the next 10 to 15 years, 20 years, we are the one that are going to take responsibility of Liberia. We the young people, the young generation. Most of these people that are in power after 20 years, they're not going to be there. They're going to be old. They're going to be sitting somewhere else. So we are the one that are going to take the responsibility. So if we just sit and allow the country to die, what is it going to benefit? What is it going to benefit me? It's not going to benefit me anything. I'm a sedition, but I'm a sedition with a difference. I have a different mentality, maybe because I'm exposed, and maybe because I have over 12 years corporate working experience. I understand branding, I understand multitasking, I understand getting the job done. So I see things from a different perspective. Most of my colleagues that are from the government, some of them are the first job. They never been in office before, and they give them big jobs, so they don't even know how to deliver. So all of these things affecting us, and it's not gonna change because we don't see changes coming.
Okay. So I want to push you a little bit more out of this whole political thing. I want to come to the humanitarian aspect of this because I know that's one of your passions. I believe, and I stand to be corrected, you were born in Liberia.
Yes,
I believe, and I stand to be corrected, you spend most of your life in Liberia for the most part.
all my life.
I believe, and I stand to be corrected, you have your children in Liberia, or
Yes,
you
I
have
have.
a child in Liberia.
Yes,
All right, great.
everybody out of the country for now.
Okay, great. So amidst everything that is going on, especially with the human rights violations, we can't ignore the mysterious
It's,
deaths going on.
it's terrible, Most. It's terrible, Steve. It's terrible.
We can't
You know
ignore the
what it
human
means
rights
to wake up in
violations.
the morning and you hear a 2 years old kid got raped, a 3 years old kid got raped, and then the child go to the hospital like what really got to me the other time? The baby got raped. She was bleeding. They took her to the hospital with the mother, a 2 years old baby. And they took her to the hospital. And after a day, they discharged her and sent her and her grandmom home. And the child was still bleeding. The child was still bleeding, and the child,
So hold on before you go into that. Hold on before you go into that.
yes,
So you want to confirm to us today here
yes,
because we've
yes.
seen pictures, and sometimes some of the things can be doubted, whatever it is on social media. People can say, "Oh, that aren't you?" You brought different picture.
No,
You
it
want to
is true.
confirm. You want to confirm with us today
I'm
that
confirming.
this
Yes,
child was actually raped.
yes. I
Okay.
held her in my hand. I
Hmm.
held the baby in my hand. The interview is on Voice of Liberia. I went there. I met Sekou. Sekou even interviewed the grandmom, the grandmother, and myself, and other people. It's our intervention that made them to take the child back to the hospital. I even went on my live and I tried to put the situation. I broke down on my life, and I spoke about it. And the next day, before the gender ministry decided to take the baby and the grandmother to a safe home, to take them back to the hospital and take the baby and the grandmother to a safe home. It was terrible. Even when I went to see the child, I broke down because you could not even touch her. Each time someone just tried to touch her, she starts to cry because the pain was too much. And they
Hmm.
left the baby like that and sent the baby home. And only for me to find out why they sent the baby home, for them to tell me that nobody gave they didn't have the means or who would pay the bill. Nobody gave the guarantee that, okay, yes, I will be responsible, like gender ministry take a child and say, this baby is on gender expense, you treat her to the letter. No, they just take the child is there. Nobody who's gonna pay the bill for the child or the grandmother or how they're gonna treat the child, so that how they discharge the child. And you will not believe it, they told the grandmom that she should take the child home and she should use Delta in hot water and sell the baby. Imagine a baby, a 2 years old baby with cuts all over her vagina. And sorry for the English. And you want them to take her and put her in hot water with Delta or baby and pour salt in the water. I'm like, what? I'm like, this can be. I don't want
So
to take
so
that in at all.
so so let me push you on that just a little bit. As a mother, as also a politician, as a humanitarian, as maybe a business person, so forth. How do you feel?
I felt terrible, and for the fact that I took my daughter with me. My daughter was with me that day. It was on a Sunday. I took my daughter with me. My daughter was with me. It was terrible. I broke down. I started crying. There's a lady I met who got the organization she's running. Her name is one, I think, Spoon. She got some Stone name, something Stone. And it's like she been trying to help when it comes to advocacy, when it comes to break victims and stuff like that. So they came, they met me. One thing, talking from one thing to another, when I saw the condition the baby was in, the baby was still bleeding, I started crying. And then that's how they said they were taking the baby back to the hospital. I think her name is Livingstone, something like that. And that's how they took the baby back to the hospital. I went to visit the baby, and the next thing after I did that live, the gender minister, they went ahead and they took the baby and took her to the safe house with the grandmother. But when I
Hmm.
got to the house, the baby was, this is the baby house and this is the perpetrator house. There is no house in between the two people house like this. This is where the child live. Example, this is the perpetrator house. The boy that raped the little girl. This is the boy's house, the parent house, and this is the perpetrator house. This is the little girl house. So just like this, I'm like, did the people even come here to investigate? Did they send people here in the community to find out what's going on or anything? And I try to ask in the community. The people said no, nobody went there. And Sekou was there. Sekou interviewed the CEO from Voice of Liberia. He interviewed everybody over there. And it was a bit very sad. I told my daughter, when as a mother, when you are seeing those kind of things, you have too many things running in your head. While we were talking on that little girl case, another 2 years old baby got raped by a 50 years old man after 2 days. When I went to the hospital to see the other little girl, I met another baby of 3 years old baby that her stepmother has used hot iron on her, beat her up, and the mark was all over her, and she was lying down, no blood, nothing. And gender ministry took her there, and they could not pay for her blood. They could not pay for them to do X-ray. And I intervened. They explained the story, the situation to me, and I paid for them to give her blood, and I paid for them to run an X-ray on her. These are situations that we are faced with.
Wow.
Major situations. And we got people going to organizations to donate $150, $150, giving out money that can be used to better the life of people, even places for the victims to stay, or to help them take them from one community to another community, or try and transform their life, take that stigma from on them from that community. None of these things have been done. Even for the general minister to come out to even speak on the thing, as a woman, she doesn't say anything. She remains mute in every single situation. Mute. She remains mute. The only time you will see her coming out to say something when it has to do with the president or the president's wife. But once it has to do with the citizen of Liberia, the young kids, even the little boy that got sodomized, they cut his tongue, she never one day came out to speak about it. So these are situations we are facing. You expect some of us that are mothers. So because I'm a seditian, so I should sit down too and just shut up? No. We're going to talk about it because we want to see the change. We want things to get better. We want people to be comfortable. And the security system in the country is horrible. It's bad. Moses, it's bad right now.
Let me ask you a question. Why you go into the security apparatus there? Because I know I wanted to ask you something.
Yes.
Based on the fact that you've openly criticized the government, based on the fact that you are stating the facts here, you are on ground, and I've seen pictures and videos or whatever it is of you, whether that advocacy or so forth. Do you feel secure? Are you worried? Are you concerned?
I'm not worried.
Okay. Do you feel secure?
I'm not worried at all. I'm not worried. If anybody tries to harm me for any reason, they're going to be called out. I have people watching my back. I have the international community working along with me as well. I have embassies working along with me. So I'm not scared. I'm not worried about anybody. I'm worried about the Liberian people. I'm worried about seeing things getting better. So I'm not worried about anybody.
Okay. So let's move a little further into the security apparatus, and then we'll get into Princess's case or her situation, so that maybe you can update her as to what you know. But let's come to the security apparatus. Most recently, we've seen Moses Carter. I don't know who he is.
Moses Carter is the spokesman for the government from the police angle from LMP.
Okay, so Moses Carter is in a constant habit, or Patrick Sulu, both of them are in a constant habit. When something happens, they will run to the public and either be dismissive, either try to make excuses, or the police will contaminate evidence or the case, or just kind of compromise it from the get-go. I'll give you examples. When it came to Gifty Lama, the auditors, we saw how it play out. The public saw how it play out and how things went. When it came to bodies that were being found in the streets, Patrick Sulu came out and said oppositions or people are bringing bodies from the mortuary or other places and putting it in the street to make the government look bad. What do you say about the security apparatus in the country for the people who might not have the connections you have?
Steve, the security system in our country is terrible. I will start from the door-to-door entry point before I enter the country.
Okay.
Our borders point is empty. All our borders point where we connect from Sierra Leone, from Abidjan, from Guinea, is empty. When I mean empty, there is no security. Security-wise, both manpower-wise and technology-wise, we are vulnerable. There is no system in place to know who's entering the country. You can get to any of our border point, they have one plain sheet, a piece of paper like this. It has a little box that you can bring your own passport photo. They will stick the passport photo here. You will write your name. You will write your age, your money, your pa name. They will stamp it, and you use it to go out of the country. Yep. I'm just telling you, that's it. That's the security we have. A piece of paper. So other people can come in, and at our border point, it's so flexible that once you coming in with nothing on you, right? For example, you coming in with no bag, no anything on you. Let's say I'm a criminal and I want to enter the country. I'm coming in from one of the bordering points. I just need to walk with nothing on me at all. And somebody will just see me. I tell them, for our year, I just passed here. I just went over there to speak to one of my friends. I passed here. That border point, I'm talking about. Okay, that's one. All our bordering points, no security. Then you come to the country. Electricity plays a key role when it comes to security.
Right.
The country is dark.
What happened to the lights?
Dark. Our hydro, the way they built the hydro in a way that they were building it for a small little city called Morovia.
Mm-hmm.
At a time, maybe for less than 1 million people back then, or maybe 1 million people, or less than that. They did not build the hydro in a way that the hydro can take a lot of the kind of quantity of water that it's supposed to take to sustain it, to be able to give out the output of electricity. So currently, the hydro cannot serve us. It needs to be fixed.
You're breaking through. You might want to
And in
go out and come back.
fixing it to fit.
You're breaking through. Karishma, you might want to go in and come back out. Go back out and come back in. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, you are breaking in.
Am I okay to you now, or you want me to go back and come back?
Let me see. You
Check
can hear me, right?
Fine.
Okay, you're much better. Yeah, you're better now.
All right. So, like what I was saying, the hydro, the way they build it, it cannot supply us. So to fix it to the standard to supply, to have the kind of the quantity of water that is needed to run the hydro, you need not less than $1 billion to redo the hydro. Which of course nobody is willing to invest that money in us, because the US government has already spent over $1 billion on electricity in Liberia, and still it hasn't been resolved. The German government has spent millions of dollars, and still they haven't gotten the results. We had the team from what the country name. When I get the country name, I will let you know.
Okay.
Another European team that is responsible for electricity. They came way back. They spent a lot of money. They pulled out of Liberia because as the money was coming, it was not being used for the purpose given, and they pulled out of Liberia. So currently, we have one stuff that's poor on the hydro. There's four major stuff that runs the hydro. One is damaged. You need 30 million to fix that. The other four is working, meaning the hydro can work, is running. But the way they fix it, it cannot, the water that is coming, it cannot run the hydro. And the area that they got it to is dry, because they did not do proper planning. So that's the situation. We were supposed to sign a contract with Guinea for electricity. Not Guinea, Africa. We were supposed to sign a contract with Africa for electricity. We owe Africa 9 million plus for the Lamco electricity that we were taking in the eastern side of Liberia, where you got Maryland, Grand G, that area. And we have not paid them, and the Ivorian government is not willing to sign with us until we can pay them the money. Recently, we paid them 700,000. We are left with balance 9 million. Till we can pay them the money, they are not willing to sign. They have signed with Sierra Leone. They have signed a contract with Guinea. I think you overheard about the Ivorian electricity that's supposed to come to Liberia. They started running wires and all of that. That has not been concluded on.
So one of our panelists, unfortunately, she's unable to join us, but she had a question. Let me read a question to you really quick, and you can answer. We'll get into processes issue. But then she has a question. Just curious. Chelby writes, just curious. When was the last time you told your government officials that, including your recommendation? You are there with them, right?
Yes.
And close to many, including Koji, right? So she's basically asking when the last time you told the government some of these things and even gave them recommendation.
I've given the president recommendations so many times. I
Okay.
messaged him personally many times. I've given recommendations to a few of my government officials, but most of our people don't listen. They feel that they already have all the solutions. They feel like they know politics more than you. You are not supposed to be the one to advise, and you're not supposed to be the one to tell them. So when we speak, they don't listen, and we continue speaking. Even if you go on my page right now, what I'm explaining to you about the airport, there was a letter I wrote again 2 days to the president, and I even state recommendations on what needs to be done, both for security wise and both concerning the airport, and for him to be able to revive the situation is posted on my page, because we cannot get our airport in darkness. We are at risk of flights pulling out of Liberia at any minute, because the airlines are being insecure and nobody wants to risk their investment coming to a certain country. The aircraft is an investment. The people on the aircraft is the safety of the airline. If something happens, they're not going to say that Liberian government. They were going to say that the airline, for example. So all of that, they're going to take that into consideration.
Okay. All right. So let's move fast forward to Princess. Princess is a Liberian female that allegedly was killed by someone unknown or so forth. What do you know about this story, and what do you think is really happening?
Firstly, I see that there are evidence that have been tampered with. One. Secondly, I work with the GSM sector, and I understand a lot of things when it comes to call log. You know what is call log, right, Moses?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know the last 5 person that girl spoke to will be on her call log. But then again, if anybody is involved and is working along with the people that owns the GSM company, those last 5 numbers will be deleted before the call log is out.
Why you think so? Why?
Because if the evidence that is on ground is being tampered with, and the one that is supposed to be printed is easier to be tampered with.
Hmm.
It's a paper. You type in, you put the number, you put the date. The call log comes out. You already have mandate that delete the last 5 numbers. Or maybe the person who is involved, they have their information already, and they send the information and say, get this call log. They will give that information to one person. Get this call log. Delete this particular number off the call log. All you need to do is to do once you get the call log off, you put in, Moses, for example, your number. I will put in your number and say clear number. So that particular number is clear off the call log. So if you print that color or you publish that color, you will never know if I ever communicated with that girl.
Hmm.
And I don't know if they have even put in for the color in the first place. But I would tell you for a fact that we don't have anything that we call police in our country. We don't have any investigative team. The reason being, I will give you 3 reasons. The reason being is our security system is highly vulnerable. Our officers are not being paid well. Most of the time, they are on the streets begging, so you can get them to do anything. Some people, they are not even making much. They will do anything to secure their job, so they follow instructions. A lot of people looking at Moses Carter. Why if Moses is following instruction? You are looking at the LMP, the LMP boss. He was appointed. What if he's following instruction? So these people, they will always say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. There is someone there that the instruction is coming from. So the entire princess case, it rings a bell to all young people. That's why I went on my page. I say it's sad, but it's safe to say that this country is not safe. Stay home. Don't just go out with anybody. When you're going somewhere, let someone know where you are going. Have somebody to talk to, let them know who you with. When you get there, send a message, communicate. Be transparent as possible for your own safety, be your own security. Just the way the president said in his song, he said, not everything is uncertainty, no security, how you can call it. He's right, no security. And we have to be our own security. So the young people out there, nothing in the street, stay home. When you don't have anything to do, go home early, wash your back. Stop leaving your drinks on the table with your friends, turning your back, trusting people that you don't even know. And sometimes they can be the closest person next to you to set you up. Wash your back. We are in an era that we are fighting to get justice. We are fighting with our security system. And in doing that, we also have to be able to protect ourselves. The government is not going to do it for us at this point. And that was also in my recommendation for the government to call on a retreat for the entire LMP and the military. Do a little increment on the people's salary. Do a benefit agreement with them that when you serve for certain years, when you are leaving, you get this benefit, retirement benefits. Let the police be paid well so that they can know that you are supposed to protect the lives and property of the country, so that they cannot be easily tampered with. But at this point, I can tell you for a fact that you're not going to get the real story out of Princess death. Unfortunately, she's dead. And we cannot bring her back to life. The same way I would tell every young person, wash your back, because when something happens to you, we will come on the media, will advocate for you. People will take placard for you. But the only thing, we don't have power to give you life. So the easy way to do it is to be your own security, wash your back.
Be your own security, wash your back.
Yeah.
Are you still running in District 10?
Yes, I am.
Are you running?
I'm running as an independent candidate.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask you next, because the last time you were here, I tried to ask you about whether you're running a CDC ticket or not. You said you wouldn't answer that question as of that time. So today you're saying to us that you...
Yes, I will be running as an independent candidate.
Would there be any point at which you could compromise?
No, I will not compromise. There is no room for compromising.
So you're not compromising with Yeke or with Josephine?
No, I will not compromise with no one, because this is about my people.
Even your fellow sisters, Sidisha and Josephine?
No, I will not. I will not compromise with no one. There is no exception.
Okay. Well, that's all. You're not even your boy Yeke?
Even my boy Yeke, I will not compromise. Yeke go sit down small. They will take care of the district.
Yeke watching you.
I know. Let him go sit down small. We'll handle the district. He need to go rest.
Well,
my boy, he need to go rest. Let him go rest. That will take care of the district small. Yeah.
So here's another question for you. There's been the buzz of this whole case, and different things have been sparkling. Such as of today, it's reported that her friend was arrested or quote unquote detained. She was on her way to Ghana. Her boyfriend or fiance or husband is reported also that he, was brought in for questioning and so forth. And you are saying that we might not know exactly what happened.
The reason why you see people panicking, right? Let me give you a case scenario. All these people that they are trying to run after, from my own understanding, these are people that have nothing to do with that girl death.
Hmm.
It's a normal case scenario. Steve, let's say put in your situation. I'm dating you, right? And then tomorrow something happens to you, or if something happens to me, they find my body lying down somewhere, and somebody say, "Oh, that her boyfriend there," but I was dating you and dating 3 or 4 other persons, or maybe I was dating you and we had issues. Everybody got issues. Even the friendship, you can have issues. People will point finger at you, even for the fact that we were not together. They're gonna point finger and say, "Oh, that's her boyfriend." It's a normal case scenario. It doesn't mean the person is a suspect, but on the other hand, you can still interview him. You can bring him in for questioning. You listen to him. You can bring it in again for, I don't know if we even have a good interrogative system, because there's a way that you can investigate and you can get some information. You can send the person back. They think you have left them. One early morning, you pick them up, you investigate and ask them those same questions and compare the answers. You will find something. If the person is not being honest, you will find something. So you could do that even to a close friend. People panic in situations like this. My close friend died. The next thing somebody will think, they will say, "I'm kill her." And the next thing I bring post, and we all just post on social media, sometimes all a joke. So I post a lot of stuff on my page on social media. It's not going to anybody, it's not directed to anybody. But if something happened tomorrow, people will start going back to my post.
Right.
To start reading my post, to analyze why I post this, why I made this, why I did this. People will start to analyze it. But majority of my posts, apart from the one I write to the president directly, all my majority of my posts is about joke. It's just a way to de-stress people, because we already too much stress in our country. No electricity, no drinking water, hunger killing people, people stress. So all of these situations are situations that bring people down. So they are going on her page. They went on the girl page. They started screenshotting. They made her scared. She started deleting. She might not have anything to do with it. Why is it up to now that the caller is not out? Why is it up to now that from the very first day that situation happened, the police should have get a letter and requested for the girl caller immediately? Request for her caller, request for the friend caller, since that how they want to do it, request for the boyfriend caller. Then you will know who spoke to who at what time.
So I have a question I want to ask you before we wind down here and maybe take a leave
Steve,
of
are
you.
you there?
Yes, I'm here. Are you hear me?
I can hear you.
I think you received a call.
Are you on mute? Did you mute your mic?
No.
I can hear you.
Go out and come back. Go out and come back.
Okay, hold on. Let me go.
Yeah.
I'll leave and come back.
Yes, do that. Yeah, do that. That would be great. Well, Karishma will be back. I wanted to ask her a question that is not mutually exclusive to Liberia. But I wanted to spread this question out to Liberians as well, because it seemed to be a common theme that we are observing or we are seeing. So I wanted to ask her that question. And once that question is asked, we'll probably wind down here and maybe take 1 or 2 calls and call it a day. But I think the conversation is going okay so far. We're having a good time here in understanding some of the perspective on the ground, some of the realities that are going on. I also like the fact that she's not distancing herself from her party or being a sedition, but she's calling them out. I like that. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Can you hear me? Is it better?
Yes, we can hear you. So
okay.
I think there is a common theme here that I wanted to bring to your attention. I wanted to ask you. Most recently, we heard the death of an
Steve, can you raise your voice for me a little bit?
Can you
I
hear
don't
me
know
now?
if you're using earpiece or something. Yeah, you're a bit low.
No, I'm not using earpiece. You can
Yeah,
hear
okay,
me?
yes, you're fine now. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Most recently, we heard about the death of a lady in Minnesota. She was killed by her husband.
Yes, I
But
heard about it too.
so here's my question to you. Here's my question to you. Do you think that we Liberians have a problem? It doesn't matter whether we're in Liberia or we're out of Liberia. And what is this problem, especially when it comes to gender-based violence or
I,
abuse and so forth? What do you think?
I, I will tell you what I've learned since I entered Tanzania. Being East Africa, I realized that the people here are so calm. I've been here for a couple of days, for over 7 to 8 days. I've never seen someone argue, like
Hmm.
like seeing two persons arguing. I've never seen it. I've never seen a boss shouting at his worker, or a driver. I use the Uber a bit here too, or the Uber driver being cheeky or being aggressive or arrogant or rude. They are calm, very calm. But I can tell you for a fact, Liberians, Nigerians, Ghanaians, we have a different uh, uh, um, attitude when it comes to those things. We are a bit aggressive, arrogant, and violent. So the violent part of Liberian is sometimes it's not just about the fact that you are a Liberian. It's an individual differences. So a guy killing his wife, unfortunately, he's a Liberian, but a lot of stuff like that happen in America with Americans as well. Killing the wife or the wife killing the husband. Serial killers, they call them serial killers. So these things happen, but meaning there are something that probably you are not paying attention to that provoke that person because it's anger. A lot of times in our society, when it comes to us being Liberians, we are not able to control our emotions. We are not able to control our anger. So we make a lot of mistakes before coming to ourselves. So I don't see anything wrong with us being Liberians, but I see a lot of stuff wrong with our attitudes. There is a lot of people that is just angry out of the blue. No emotional tolerance, no emotional control. We are suffering from these things, and we need a lot of people needs to talk to people. They need to talk to people. They need to go to a counseling hall. They need to talk to people. If you see yourself just getting angry over everything, you get angry with your kids, you get angry with your fiancé, you get angry with people, you need someone to talk to. There are things that is within you that you are not saying, that you are not speaking of, that you have been enduring, that you have swallowed, that you have kept. It is affecting you. It has turned you into someone else, and that is just not you. And you have to fight it. Or else we're going to keep making these mistakes. And I would like to find out, Steve, how is the situation with the girl? How is
So
the situation with the family, the girl that her husband stabbed? Did they
thank you for
have a kid? Do they have a child?
thank you for that question. I've not been able to actually follow with the story. I heard about it. I've read bits and pieces, and I've heard people talk here and there. In all honesty, but I have not really been able to sit around and look into it and probe into it deeply. So I wouldn't be able to give you any information in that regards. I am aware, and I stand to be corrected, that children were involved, such as whether the children were from him or from her or so forth. I'm also aware that they were married. But here's a question I want to ask you. We'll take one or two calls here to hear our viewers as well. Here's a question I want to
Okay.
ask you. What is the situation with the drugs abuse, substance abuse, and the issue of Zogo in Liberia? What do you think?
It's bad. It's really bad.
What do you mean bad? In what term? In what context?
Drug abuse is rampant in the country. Even the kids, the people are using. You saw what happened to the little boy that got sodomized and they cut his tongue. It's something that is rampant in the country. The other time there was an incident that happened in Valentine. We had Zokos attacking people. I don't know what happened with the I think the pimping rider and with the Zokos, and they attacked each other. It was a total disaster. But I was out of the country. I had to be texting one of my supporter, I can say, and my little sister, because she was on that side and she was reporting on Facebook. I had to be in her inbox asking her what's the situation. She should send me a video, and she said she had to run for her life, so she was unable to record because I wanted the situation to raise it out on social media. So I needed a video, because in Liberia, when you're talking about things, you need to have proof, you need to have evidence to be able. And she had ran out of the area because she was running for her life. They were entering stores, they were attacking people and stuff like that. The other time, the similar thing happened in Douala, the Douala market. So these are situations that are totally out of hand, and we need to put more time into it. It's not just about taking people from the street. You have these people you have the people, we call them Zoko. Me, I don't call them Zoko. These are people that are on the street that needs help. You need homes for them. You need to build a center for them, a renowned center where they can take them in for cleaning, rehabilitation. They come in where they got medication, they get cleaned out, they get flushed out. You have a couple of schools where they can learn something, some kind of trade, learn how to crochet, learn how to sew. You have a classroom, someone to teach those that don't know how to read and write. These are things that needs to be put in place, because if you want to take them from the street, you have to have a center to revive them.
I agree with you.
You can just force them out of the street. If I'm in the street, for example, Steve, I'm in the street. I'm running after a car to collect my $5, $10, and I'm wearing share. How you can call it? And you can't beat me with rock to leave the street. And somebody come to me and tell me, say, listen, let's go and rob. We got a place to go tonight. How you can call it? I will join them because I'm hungry. I need food to eat.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Stick with us. Let's take one or two calls. I'm going to pin the number, or if you have my number, please feel free. You have 1 minute, please. As always, people in SKT.
Moses, can I take my water from there?
Yes, most definitely. Most definitely.
Okay.
Karishma will be back. If you have a question for her, if you have a general question, you have an input, 1 minute, please. The number is pinned on here, or if you have my direct contact, reach out to me really quick. Let's use the next 5 or 10 minutes to get this going, and we'll call it a day. This is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we're stuck with what are the substance abuse issue in our country. We're stuck with gender-based violence, and you've heard from Karishma. It's very disheartening. It's very disheartening. So let's turn our attention and focus for the next 5 minutes. Feel free to place your call. Again, if you got a question for Karishma, feel free to ask her your questions, and we will we'll go from there. Let's give a few more minutes, Karishma, and we will call it a day. But so this is, I don't know. This is a compound, complex problem that we have as a nation. Not only that, the people are hungry, but talking about the drugs, substance abuse, mental illness, violence in the country, and so forth. Karishma, what do you think about
Steve,
it?
you need to come and visit.
I think
you need to take a team and come and visit. Yeah.
I think we're having a caller here. Hold on. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
Yeah, Steve, this one is the great information I want to break. Let me go my name for now.
Okay.
Because I'm living in Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah, so the girl I got murdered. She was sister to one of my homegirls, but I haven't spoken to my homegirl yet.
Okay.
But she actually talked to one of our friends. And the thing is, I think it had to do with the lady having an older daughter.
Okay.
Right? And this man was abusing his girlfriend. So I think the authority was involved. And then that's how the marriage turned up. So just a little brick of the home. And so he probably done, and then he came back to talk. And then she tried to get his audience to talk to. Listen
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I think that's what I did, and we started getting hurt, getting stabbed. But anyway, yeah, so my question I got for your guest is, first of all, let me give her a lot of compliments. She's very intelligent, she's not just beautiful, but she's very intelligent, and I admire her presence on the show. My question I have for her is, if she knows, if she see all of these bills that are going on in our society, does she still support this government, or is she still a citizen just for, maybe for the support?
Okay.
Does she still fully support this government? Does she still recommend a second term for Judge Leah? That's my question for the judge.
Okay, thank you so much. That's a good question. I will relay the question just to emphasize it, because maybe she didn't hear you. But thank you. So we have another
Moses, I did not hear him. I did not hear a thing. Can you?
I'll give you the question. I'll tell you the question.
Okay.
Hold on. We have another caller here. Hold on. Let me get this caller, please. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
There's Amson Java from Louisiana.
Hey, Anston, what's up, my man? Long time. How are you?
We've been busy trying to grow rice in Liberia, man.
I know, my man. Thank you for all you do, my man. Thanks for the good job.
We thank God.
So what's your input today?
You see, Moses, let me tell you something. When I was back home in Liberia, 1990, I think 94, 96, when Prince Johnson left Monrovia and went to Nigeria, I saw all the small soldiers in the street. Those children were homeless. And I told my man Cummings and Kamukado guys, I said, look, let us start a drug abuse program to help the children, because our politicians are short-sighted. They don't think well. These children are the poor people's children. They get guns and drugs. We can't allow them to just be in the street. That's how I took my business money and started the first drugs abuse program in Yucatan. And as I went from house to house 3 days a week, preaching to the children. Today, Luada is still in Liberia. It's the #1 drug abuse program in the country. Since 1994, we started that. It's still #1. The same thing happened with the youth program that we started, Student Against Corruption. I've been telling Liberians to help me. Let's see how we can educate the youth in all schools in the Republic of Liberia. Moses, I alone sponsored the whole thing. The Student Against Corruption. Now we are in 4 counties, in schools in 4 counties. My vision is to make sure that we have integrity clubs in all schools in the Republic of Liberia. I sponsor it on my own. Our people don't focus on what is important for the country.
Exactly.
Politics whole day. One man, Armstrong, I started the first drugs abuse program in Yucatan and helped the youth to this one day a half degree. One man, Armstrong, started a Student Against Corruption that is the #1 youth program in the entire nation today. I just started the farming, growing rice in the country. Today, we're #1 producer of rice in the country today. We just brought a clay bricks machine from China to start building affordable homes for Liberians. If one man can do all those things, think about what we Liberians can do. All we do is talk. This thing is not about talking. It's about doing something to help our people. Establishing our own businesses to build our country.
Thank you.
We can't sit there and allow our brothers and sisters to be on drugs. When they get talked about no security in the country, no police, and the drugs, the drug is destroying the youth. I mean, I feel so sad. We need to do something. So, Moses, I will get to you to see how we can work together to start to help the children back home. I will talk to my team on the ground, Student Against Corruption. We'll go from high school to high school and all the schools in Monrovia and see how we can put together a program to start helping the children back home. Thank you, my brother.
Most definitely. Thank you, Ashton. Thank you so much. Let me get another caller. I still got a question. I'll give you a question really quick. Let me get this caller.
I'm holding it. Even the guy that just came out, you got another caller there?
Yes. Yeah. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
Talvina Cole calling from Texas.
Telvi, what's up?
Okay.
We miss you. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm busy work day. I couldn't come, but I follow the show, and thank you, guests and your followers. Just have a comment. I have a couple of comments. First, to the lady, Princess Cooper. I understand today the government did the autopsy. Can you hear me, Steve?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear her?
Okay. I can hear her a little bit. Yeah. Steve, your volume is low. That's what's giving me a hard time.
I got it too.
You can hear me? Or maybe I should get off my earpiece.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it better?
It's better, right?
I'm not on earpiece anymore, so it should be better.
Karishma, you can hear?
I can hear her. Some kind of way you can come from when you talk like that. I can hear you more. But I can hear her. Let her go ahead.
So let me do this quick now. Other people got a call. But I understand the government did an autopsy or pathological exam of the body today. The family was not present because they had some concerns, which include the credentials of the examiner. But I was surprised that the government went ahead and still, went on with the exam, knowing that the family has some current concerns. I think the government should have halted everything until those concerns were addressed. Mm-hmm. The fact that the family was not happy about it, had those concerns, they shouldn't have done it, right. But they went ahead, and that's very disrespectful. I think I did a post up on that. That's very disrespectful, dishonoring to the dead and the family. So it seems as though they're trying more to please themselves,
trying to cover something up. Yeah.
So mm-hmm. that wasn't right, and I think it was important to note that because I just wanted to reference that. I hope they will sue them, because you and I know in this America, you cannot do that. Even with a basic exam, once the patient is not okay with that, it's not going any further until the patient gave a written or oral consent. So I think that was disrespectful. One thing I wanted to still on that, the lady, and I'll be very quick here. So the phone records, I'm not sure to date they've gotten the full records. I did some posting there. Some people, have some concerns about that. Even if the phone, the text, or the text,
you can get text. You cannot get text from the phone record.
What I'm saying is that even if the text or the phone calls were deleted from the actual device, once the call was made, it goes to a tower. And so it's backup somehow. I know library systems kind of work, but it
can be deleted. So it can be deleted. What's her name? What's the lady name on the phone?
Give me a second.
Talvi.
Talvi, I want to give you. I work with a GSM company, so I just wanted to educate you on something quickly.
Give me a second there. Give me a second. Let me finish my thought. Then you can comment. Give me a second. Okay. So it goes to the tower. So it can be there, and it can be back up to the cloud as well. So they can get it somehow. They can get it if they want to get it. If somebody goes into the system later on and after it's generated and try to maneuver it, that's it. But it can't be done, because once you place a call, whatever, it goes to the tower. It's there, it's stored. That's just technology. It happens that way. Even here, and no matter whether it's here, there, or yonder. That's just it. Can people hack the system? Yes. And it's not only unique to Liberia, anywhere in the world, people will hack the system. But it can be retrieved. So the sooner the government can get that, which they should have gotten in the first 24 or 48 hours, it would have been better for the case. The longer it stays, the more evidence is destroyed, no matter what. And so it's so important to note that. Lastly, a personal recommendation to your guest. We appreciate the concerns that she expressed, calling her government out. But I think a better approach, as she's doing that, will be to have this conversation with them. She's closer to them than social media. When I say closer, we're here doing this, but she's on the ground with them. So sit down with them and being with them. And more importantly, I don't understand where I see you guys are not applying by the rule of law. I see you guys are not governing like you should, but I'm still a proud member of the party. At some point in time, you have to cut your losses. You have to do some self-evaluation and self-reflection and cut your losses and move on. But while you're calling in mob, you seem as though you're removing yourself from the problem. The fact that you're still associating with them you are part of the problem. So hopefully you have some reflection when it comes to that. Now I can take
No,
your
I
question.
disagree with you for that. I disagree with
That's
you for
fine.
that.
We can respectfully disagree. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I disagree with you from that because it doesn't mean because calling my party up meaning I should leave them. No. No. We call people out to make corrections. Yes. Let me
So
give one or two input on this one.
okay,
Most
go
Steve.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. All right. Well, it doesn't mean because I'm calling on my party, meaning because they are doing things wrong, so I should just turn my back and walk away. It doesn't gonna make any change. And I cannot be a problem when I'm trying to find a solution. And if finding the solution is to call them out to let them know that this is wrong, we can do it this way. Let's make a change. You can change it. This is wrong. Because we have a tendency that most of the time our people are afraid to even speak the truth to our leaders to let them know that this is wrong. You are going the wrong way. Things are not working the way it's supposed to be working or how you thought it is working. So we're speaking out so that the change that we want to see can be made instead of us being someone in box or sitting and having a conversation like it was never there or not speaking out at all to make a change. So I think I'm doing the right thing and we are doing it in the interest of our people. We have spoken a lot of issues that we have gotten support. We spoke on the issues of us getting support for the Liberian students that were trying to find a way out of Ukraine, and were able to get other people to come on to have the conversations to raise money for them. We did that. We were also able to advocate for the wire fees to be paid for students to have access to the wire. Steve, can you? Steve?
We're hearing you now. It was sticking before.
Yeah, yours was thinking you went off.
No, you were sticking. I was muted. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Everything went off.
No, we heard you. We heard you. We heard what you said. We heard your response. We got
Okay.
another caller. Let's take this last caller, and I'll give you the question that the first caller asked. Okay, I'll give you that question.
Okay.
Caller, what's your
All
name?
right.
Where you calling from, please?
Steve, good afternoon. This is Jerome Cummings.
Oh, what's up, my man?
I'm doing okay, my brother.
My man, it's good to hear from you.
Yeah, I've been around quietly running my business and watching everything. Thank you for the hard work. You know, I'm not familiar with the guest. Maybe she knows me or so. I don't know, but I didn't catch her name. Someone just told me, say, watch SKTV. So I listened to her. But one of the concerns that I have is this, Steve. The proliferation of ghettos in our country is on an increase. When you backtrack a little bit, you go to 12 years ago, not that we never had the ghettos there, not that we never had these kind of killings, but the killings that were taking place in the country was not like this. This is rampant. This is rampant and it's scary. When Madam Salih became president after the inaugural program, let's say in 2007, there was a group calling itself the Sakaba Boys. The Sakaba Boys, every now and then, they will rob people. Either they chop somebody, they made away with people generator, they do this and do that. Madam Salih put together a crack team through the Ministry of Justice. In less than 3 weeks, we couldn't hear about the Sakaba Boys. We couldn't hear about the Sakaba Boys. Those who were in the country those days, who are familiar with the name, the Sakaba Boys, they came from a Nigerian movie. The Sakaba Boys disappeared. This government can do the same. This government is sitting in a good position to do the same. Somebody will say, Mr. Cummings, well, we had the peacekeepers in the country at the time. Yes, we had the peacekeepers, but it was the Liberian National Police. As a matter of fact, it was the task force that was set up. The NSA was part, The Bureau of Immigration was passed. Part of it, the Liberian National Police was part because it was making the place ungovernable. But look what is unfolding today. 5 years in row. 5 years. I'm just talking about maybe 6 or 7 months. In less than a few weeks, the Sakaba boys were no more. What is it that this government needs to do? What is it that she's doing now to contain this situation? And when people start talking about the different deaths occurring in our country, Steve, I'm the guy who like to go way back. Mm-hmm. Let's start from Keith Juba. Keith Juba was murdered on his farm. What became of that investigation? Nothing. The 17 young men that were killed between Lower Magidi County and that of Grand Bassa, what became of that investigation? Nothing. Fire Bolly gone down right in front of his house. That guy was a former presidential candidate. The 5 bodies that were discovered prior to the election of Senator Dan Mariah in Maryland, the 5 mutilated bodies that were discovered. What became of that investigation? Nothing. The Fula man who was killed in River G, they cut his head, whose death was allegedly linked to a non-sitting senator, Kamene Wisse, whose driver alleged that he was sent by his boss to get somebody. What became of the investigation of the little boy who was killed in Lofa County, whose death was also allegedly linked to a former senator, former LPRC managing director, Somo Kupi? Look, it's like he who pays the piper plays the tune in Liberia. I mean, it's good that the guest has connection or close contact with the power that be, and it's good that she's speaking out. I hope people will not take this in out of context and say, oh, she's with us and she's speaking against us. No, it's just calling your attention that this has the propensity to derail your entire good work or make the public feel that there's no need that we can trust you. So it's just too much. And when I sit down, I see the same thing repeatedly, Steve. You see the same thing repeatedly. And the part that is scaring is this. And you guys, like one time you appeared on my program, you talk about consistency.
Right.
One thing I noticed about us, the Liberians in the diaspora, who claim we are advocates, is that when we pick up a story, we don't follow the story. When we pick up a story, we will leave that story, and then we jump to another story, we jump to another story, we jump to this one, we jump to that one. That's why today on my program, I catalog all the different videos, and I was just showing them over and over for people to understand that it's not today's business. This thing has been around for a long time. But most often, when we pick up a story, we give it some sensation, we put it down, then we come back. We put it down, then we come back. But thank you, man, my brother.
Thank you so much.
Fun in the program.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. So,
Steve,
Karishma,
I gotta go.
Karishma, I got 2 more callers. I got one more question.
I gotta go. Steve, I gotta go. I got a flight to catch.
Okay. All right. Well, since you gotta go, let me give you the question from that first caller, please.
Yes, please do.
The caller was asking, with everything that you've said, do you still think President George Weah deserve a second term?
I'm not going to comment on that for now. And you're going to hear from me from the beginning of next year.
Okay. So
right.
You plead the fifth in America.
But I want to say thank you. And the conversation was interesting, very interesting. The other guy that spoke to you concerning the organization that has to do with the drugs situation we are faced with, please, when you guys communicate, I'd like to talk to him on knowing his organization and what they are doing. If it's anything, I can work along with them as well. Okay. Anything that has to do with, working with the young people to be able to clear them off the street. So I'm interested that he let you know what is it that his plans is like.
Okay.
And we can take it from there. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Karishma, thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you on with us. And
thank you. Best of luck with the show. And when I get back home, we will have an exclusive interview, an exclusive one where we can talk about major issues.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Safe flight and bye for now.
All right.
All
Okay.
right. Bye-bye. Okay, Karishma is out. Let me get 2 more callers in and we are out of here. Yes, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Unfortunately, the guest left. Karishma left. What's your name? Where you calling from, caller?
Hey, this is Ben. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I just want to speak to something that my friend, her name
Karishma?
Chelby.
Chelby?
Chelby said. I think she was more concerned about the government carrying on the autopsy without the family consent. Yeah, there are certain situations where government can carry on an autopsy without the family consent, and one of those situations are mysterious death, and that happens to be in this case. So I think the government will be in the right of carrying on that particular autopsy. And there's another thing that we should also take into consideration. I don't think Liberia have a forensic pathology. We do have pathologists in the country, but those two things are completely different. So yeah, maybe if the family had a problem, I think the right thing that you have done was to tell the government what the fears or what the problems were, because it seems to me nowadays, because we all do not trust the government because of a lot of the wrong things that they have been doing. Sometimes there are real good reasons why one needs to be a part of setting investigation, and then people do not turn up, like in the 3 missing boys, where they found a body and they're asking the family for DNA and they did not come out. In those kind of situations, you don't expect the government to go and force the people and then knock them down. I'm just trying to be fair here with the situation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me get the last caller here for the day and we'll close up. Let me get the last caller here. Sorry, guys. Thank you so much for your patience with us today. We'll make the announcements and we'll close up. Let me get this last caller on. This is the last caller for the day.
Hey, Mose, what's up?
Yes, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? I know who it is, but I'd like the public to know.
Yeah, this is J. Randy. How you doing, sir?
Yes, J. Randy. Sorry, the guest had to run.
No, she saw my question. She knew that I mean what she had to run. She saw my question.
Oh, okay. What was your question, though? I didn't see it.
Well, I wanted to ask her, is she running, right? She running in Yaka Koluba district?
Yeah, District 10.
Well, the question I want to ask her is, does she know the total population of registered voters in that community? Does she know, and did she tell you what are the issues concerning that district before she started to go geographically looking at Zogos, as they call them, which I don't prefer? Did she present to you what are the issues in that district and how is she going to solve those problems? Okay. That's the question I wanted to ask them.
All right.
And just to piggyback on what your just left the line caller said, the issue is easy, but I think he struck a point there where in Liberia we don't have many pathologists, but the government can carry out our own annual exam on the body, get their own pathologist, but there's something we call independent pathology. If the family got money, and all those who always giving other people free money through cash card, if they really mean business for princess, they can put money together and hire the independent pathologist that will fly in the country and conduct an autopsy on the body.
Right. I agree.
And, so that's what they need to do. So the government can do what they want to do.
Okay.
So thank you, Moses. That's all I have.
Thank you, J. Randy. I will definitely try to convey her question. I know she'll watch the show, and hopefully the next time we have her on here.
Don't worry. She'll come with the rules, because once you start running, we'll ask her the question. So you don't have to run to her. We know how to get the people out there, but we educate the people, and the opponent will get to that. So I look forward to talking to her, but I hope when she comes back, she'll be able to answer the question, because those are fundamental questions that you must understand from your district before you want to run. I know, but thanks. And I enjoy the program. Bye.
All right, bye for now. Okay, I want to say something about the Zogo issue or the rising of drugs and substance abuse in the country. We have openly offered our services to help the government, but we've also told them that we're not going to suck up to nobody. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to stop criticizing the government till they do what is right. I will criticize the government if they do wrong. I will criticize the opposition if they do wrong, because I believe in the fact that I can walk and chew gum. We can offer our services, but when they need to criticize, I will criticize. I'm not one of your. We have offered our services, and I will be frank and say the problem we are having, if we don't tackle it, it will be the biggest epidemic we face ever. I told Thomas Faladay 2018. I told them in 2018. I told the government that this will be the biggest pandemic, and the government, this government, is not the one that brought about this situation. No, it's not the government. The war exacerbated this situation. It made it worse. I blame the people who came to do the DDD program. You cannot rehabilitate someone that been through a 14-year civil war for 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. No, you can't. It doesn't work that way. There was no long-term strategy or plan when it disarmed these guys. And also, whatever services that were provided to our people was not provided in the context of the culture. It is a problem. When you do counseling, it must be done in the context of that culture. If it is not done there, it will be counterproductive. In other words, it will not work. Culture is important to counseling as well. Because let's take, for example, a white woman might not understand how an African woman reacts or what she believes. Maybe she believes in her voodoo, or she believes in church, or she believes in maybe the mosque or other religion or other things. It must be incorporated into that to be effective. When you come and you talk all the white things that are not applicable to our people, it does not work. Plus the language barrier, plus the phobia. Some of our people see where people are jacking. So all of these things. So the government has people that can help. There are other professionals here in these areas. I'm available to make my services to them, but it will not be at me not criticizing them. No, that's not truth. That's not truth. That will not work. It doesn't work with me like that. Even at my job, where I work, when I see wrong and somebody do wrong, we'll find a way to correct it. If you can correct it, you'll be criticized. Yes, you will be criticized. And this government has given no priority to this issue. They have given no priority to this issue. They don't care. They don't care about this issue. They don't. That's not in their interest. It's not in their interest. That's why they're not investing in it. That's why the general minister is not saying anything. That's why when they brought that bogus roadmap, I said they're not even able to achieve it. It's not possible. It's not timely. I read the roadmap the second day soon they drafted it, the second day, somebody sent it to me. And I sent it to Telvi, and I came openly and I challenged them. I said they will not be able to achieve it. And I said, I stand on what I said I did today. Because what's written in that roadmap, not that there are not good things there, but whoever wrote it was their idea. It was not the government's idea. And the people that are in charge to implement it, they have no clue. Pisota got no clue about what's in there. She got no clue. So she will not be able to implement it. She will not be able to implement it. It's like you take a car key and the way to somebody say, go drive, go take a run now. How in the world you expect them to go to the place where they want to go? Somebody said they want to go to the bank. You take car key and put it in the hand and say, go. How they supposed to get to the bank? They're depending on you to get in route. But you get in car key. Does that make any sense? You're not helping them. So Pisota does not know what in that stuff. John Weir does not know what in that stuff. He received it that day just for photo ops. They don't know what's in it. So even if you get an idea, they will not be able to implement it. Simple put. They need to get technocrats. They need to get people who know what to do to help them. But because they feel so proud and pompous, they will not reach out for help. They will not seek help. They will not consult with people. So let them keep on. That's the business. I just sorry for our people that we can't help. The way we really want to help, we cannot help. So that's what it is. That's why we are doing tomorrow we're doing a free teaching online. That's the best way we can help our people for now. Until serious-minded people who want to invest in this part of our life, because I can tell you though, we're taking this for a joke, but this is a big challenge for all of us. This will wipe out the next generation. We'll have a serious problem. Let me tell you today. You think this is a joke? This is a serious thing. And no God is that. You're not going to pray for it to solve the problem. We'll not solve the problem. You have to get to people who have the willpower to want to invest to restore the next generation. Majority of the people who are Zogos, they are young people. They're not older people. When we're younger, we saw crazy people that were older people. Nowadays, majority of people are impacted and the numbers keep growing. I'm keeping eyes on the number through different counties. So yes, the government is not serious. They don't want to invest in this part. The human capacity is dying in our country. Let me tell you today, it's dying. The young people, they're trapped. And nobody can say, oh, God will save them. And God, no, they're not God business. We need to get to work. We need to get to work. And not only the government, even the opposition, it has to be a collective work to fight this. Drug addiction, mental health issue, substance abuse, they're not small thing. They're not small fight. But it's very expensive. It requires a lot. It requires money. It requires support. It requires people who know what they are doing. And not that nonsense that people are doing. They don't know what they are doing. They don't. I'm saying here they don't know. No disrespect to her. They don't know what they are doing. And that's why we are stuck and we are where we are today. But long story short, tomorrow will be on 6 p.m. Eastern time. Please set your time. Tomorrow we'll be talking on mental health and wellness. Tomorrow the topic is very interesting. We'll be talking about intimacy and isolation. So long as people hear the word intimacy, the first thing that comes to the mind is sex. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll talk about isolation tomorrow, what it means. And how can you and somebody be in a relationship and they're isolated, you will know. And what are the bad part of isolation, you will know. So tomorrow we'll talk. Tomorrow that PB talk. Tomorrow that PG-13. You gotta be older. That older folks then talk. We're moving now to our own time. Yeah. So tomorrow about that BB talk we're talking. We're talking BB people thing. Tomorrow, I'll say it again. 6 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be on the same network having this conversation. Please be on time. Please tune in. We are ready to have the conversation. We're ready to move. Invite somebody. We've been getting a lot of feedback. Tomorrow we'll talk. And we'll have a lot of discussion about isolation. What it means to be isolated. What it means. And how it can impact your life. So tomorrow is another big conversation. I think it's the 5th stage. Talk about it. And we look forward to it. Saturday, we're having Nathaniel Bounce, a presidential candidate. Nathaniel Bounce is the man who, what you can see on the video, when Nathaniel McGill spoke this past Saturday, he came and rebuked or checked Nathaniel McGill. He will be on the show Saturday for us to have a conversation. Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. He's a presidential candidate. He's also a former finance minister. He's also a former foreign minister. I think I still to be correct on the finance minister part. I'm sure he is. But foreign minister to the United States. He's been here. He worked here. He understands. We'll talk to him about foreign policy. We'll talk to him about his role in Liberia. We'll talk to him about the Ellen government. We'll talk to him about the current government. So you don't want to miss it. We're asking a lot of questions. Saying he want to be president for the country, he fought on inside too. We're asking. Yeah, you already know what time it is. Yes, he was a former finance minister. He was. Then he became foreign minister. So he's held a lot of high-profile jobs in the country. So he understands. And our research even found out that he was with the Taylor government. So yes. So it will be an interesting conversation on Sunday. On Sunday, we are also having a conversation here on Sunday with somebody's calling, but we're closing. Let me see. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello? Oh, okay. The person was calling back. So On Sunday, we're having Antonia Law Sonda. Sonda is from the Daughters of Mountain. She's the board chair. She'll be talking about the Asila Minta deal and where they are now. Remember, she was here before. She'll be coming back to inform us about what's going on and what's up. For the next week, we're looking at some names. We're in talks with Abdullah Kiatamba to come on the show for us to have a conversation, a national conversation. Hopefully, we'll conclude it sometime this week or next week for him to appear on SKTV for to have a. So yes, somebody said bring Mr. Cummings. We're in talk with the ANC people to bring Mr. Cummings and all the other political actors. So we're getting back into the routine of our interview and so forth. So look forward to tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and the weekend. Power Pack. Let's have Mr. Nathaniel, Ambassador Nathaniel Bounce here, and we'll have some conversation. I like him already. I like his spirit. I met him in person. We just cracked 1 or 2 jokes on Saturday night. He said, "My man, you look like a younger version of me," and we started laughing. But overall, we have the conversation here, and you already know what time it is. That being said, have a good week. Stay out of trouble. Be safe. God bless. See you tomorrow, 6 p.m. Invite someone. Let someone know. And please watch on SKTV for the different flyers. They'll be coming up today, tomorrow. They'll be up and we move. No copyright to the song. Thank you for sticking with us. And thanks to Karishma for, it was an impromptu, guest, we're on the show and she decided to volunteer to show up based on the conversation, and we've sent her the link to join us. But it was good. All in all, also want to say thanks to her for giving us her time and for contributing to the conversation. Let's move.